all the guys being ruled out who can soil the lineups that you painstakingly crafted in advance. I'm Chris Spags, joined by my good pal, the Chubster, Josh Engelman. Josh, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. I got one of my best friends rolling into town in like 15 minutes. My wife's best friend is on the road to get here. We've got New Year's party here in 24 hours, so it's going to be good. Woke up to roofers being on our roof like fucking Santa Claus and his reindeer, ripping all of the shingles off at 7:45 this morning. That went well.
But your roof is looking great, and that's really what matters.
Nope, it just doesn't have shingles. They left after that. I'm not entirely sure why. The drizzle is not really appealing for me to take off all the shingles, but here we are. Should have a new roof tomorrow, I guess.
It seems like suboptimal shingle time, but I don't really know much about shingling, so I don't want to speak out of turn.
Roofs.
No,
my buddy was like, wait, is there something, like, is the roof gone? I was like, we didn't like blow the brains out of the house or anything. I think they just like take off the top layer. It's like getting a haircut.
If the roof is on fire, all I know is you got to let that guy burn.
I'd let this whole house burn to the ground. There's like 6 things that I would save: wife, dogs, whatever equipment is in my office right now. They could burn the rest of it to the ground. I'd love to rebuild this house in the way that I would like it.
Well, maybe with your week 17 winnings from playing all of these random assholes that we're talking about, that's what you can do with that money.
The good news is I'm not really playing any random assholes today. So that'll bite me for sure. I mean, someone's going crazy, but I haven't totally seen the need to grab like the hardcore slop. I also need to grab my shirt. Not that I'm not wearing a shirt right now, but it's sitting next to me. So talk for 5 seconds.
Okay. So yeah, by the way, we are presented by Thrive Fantasy. Thrive is, of course, a new DFS app where players draft a lineup built to prop bets of only top tier athletes. You pick 10 props out of the 20, and the less probable a prop is to occur, the more points it's worth. And that's where the game theory lies. So we're going to drop a link in the chat. They are still offering deposit bonuses for Awesemo users. If you go to bit.ly/Awesemo, you'll get $10 on any $10 deposit, $20 on a $100 deposit, and $50 for $200 or more. And that money hits you right away. So go check out Thrive now. I feel like the prop bets here are not going to be the best anyway. And my Thrive app just closed.
I got it. I got Thrive here.
Okay. If you got a Thrive guy, please, who should we go?
What do we have first up? Okay, so this one's pretty easy for me. Ooh, rushing yards. Saquon Barkley. You get 110 points for the over. What do you think the rushing yard total is?
What I'm guessing what it actually is.
Well, yeah, you give me the number, and then we'll know if you want the over or the under.
Okay, so what his number would be in my mind, I think, I don't have him going over 100 versus the Cowboys at half strength with nothing to play for. So I think I would have him at 89 rushing yards.
77.5.
Okay, so I guess I would go over then.
Yeah, 77.5 feels. I have a decent amount of Barkley today, so I will hope that he goes over 77.5. The only caveat to this one is that he could easily just have 140 receiving.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. So right. I think that would be better then, because I think there's actually a decent probability of that anyway, because the Cowboys are pretty weak versus pass catching running backs, and they're not bad versus the run game. Though it depends who they're going to trot out there. The Cowboys have nothing to play for at all, so I think that's the one thing going for old Barkley. Nasty J in the chat also asking, are you confident that Saquon Barkley will get the volume we would have to count on for GPP upside? I'm not, to be honest. I'm not playing a ton of Saquon. He is currently the chalkiest running back on the slate, according to our ownership projections. You can get with promo code live before lock on awesemo.com. What are you doing with Barkley, Josh? Because you're playing all the dudes who are competent and not the assholes. So that probably means you got some Saquon.
Yeah, I have a lot of Saquon. If anybody was listening to the game plan before this show, Ben and Laffy were also on opposite sides of this, where Ben didn't really see him getting an increased workload, and Laffy did. And I tend to agree with Laffy in this case because, for the exact same point, I don't think that the Giants are a very well-run organization. And in theory, they would sit him completely. There's no value for him to play this game whatsoever. But if he's playing, I think he's going to feature heavily. He's trying to shore up a Rookie of the Year win, potentially. So I think that he goes after it, especially in a game against the Cowboys. If this was not like a divisional rivalry game, I could see a case for it. But, beating the Cowboys is always something that a Giant wants to do. And it seems like he's going to get the load. So I'm in for Barkley today.
So the guy I prefer more on the Giants side is Sterling Shepard. He got priced up a little bit.
Have a lot of him as well. He's playing out of the
slot again because Russell Shepard's out, and that whenever Sterling Shepard's in the slot, that's when he gets the stupid amount of targets. Last week versus the Colts, he had like a monster first half and then kind of petered off. But I think this could be a good spot for him. So I actually like Shepard a lot more than Barkley just because of the price, and he's only 6% owned.
If it helps you, I have more Shepard than Barkley.
Oh, okay, good. So I'm glad we agree on that one. Yeah, like to me, Shepard looks like a great play. And I think at running back, I mean, it's weird because like you're gonna have the super cheap guys going for a lot or for a pretty high amount of ownership, and then you're gonna have Barkley going for a high amount of ownership. So I'd rather go to like the middle tier for running back and get like the CJ Anderson kind of caliber guys, the Jeff Wilsons. My dog drinking water lovingly, of course, so she has to do whenever we do.
Better than barfing it back out.
No, she's the one who doesn't barf. She's the one who had $20,000 in kidney surgery earlier in the year, but no vomit. We're strong.
Man, I would probably put my wife down for $20,000 in kidney surgery.
Yeah. Well, we were insured for most of it, but still not the most fun thing to charge out all your cards because you have to float that until the insurance pays you back.
Nope.
But yeah, I don't know. So I like Shepard quite a bit. I think running it back. What are you doing with Rod Smith on the other side? He's kind of weirdly priced for a guy who has done nothing all year.
0. Didn't even come up in my research.
Okay. So I was on Rod Smith before the Zeke news because I just kind of assumed, I am a Cowboys fan. I do follow what they're doing. The assumption was that they were going to rest everybody who was important because they had some issues before with not resting guys and then whatever. So I kind of wanted to go to like the shitty Cowboys, like the Cooper Rush, maybe Michael Gallup stack kind of tier Cowboys with Rod Smith. But I think Rod Smith is actually the only guy there now who's playable because he's going to get to start. He's probably going to get 15 to 25 touches. I think that's a pretty wide swath, but he hasn't been good this year, but Zeke opportunity is pretty big.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he grades out really well in Alex's rankings, so I don't have a problem with it. I just don't he just didn't come up.
All right. No, that's fair. Rod Smith, one guy to watch. I guess what other running backs are coming up for you a lot in your crunches so far?
You mentioned CJ Anderson, then Barkley. The only one that I'm not comfortable with that I got with any sort of volume is Elijah McGuire. Dalvin Cook, a little bit of Jamal Williams, which I like now more so with Davante Adams out. Who else do I have coming up? Everything else is just sort of scattered. I'm a little bit more spread on running back. I'm a little bit more concentrated on wide receivers.
What are you doing? Is the Davante Adams, obviously that was a big rule out if you're not aware of that, which I would hope you are at this point. Davante Adams is ruled out after, a lot of assumption, including on my end, that he was going to be playing to hit the milestones that he had to hit, but apparently his knee is too bad to go. You go into any Packers receivers given that Adams is out?
Valdez-Scantling.
No Cobb.
No Cobb. Valdez-Scantling is the flat minimum on Yahoo. That's just he's like the only real body left. Cobb looks good for tournament sake, but I trust Valdez-Scantling at $10 on Yahoo more than I trust anything else.
No, that does seem like a fair assumption to make there. Dog, shut the fuck up.
He grades out really well in Alex's rankings. A value on Yahoo. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Yahoo has some good values there. Then they are still doing their overlay stuff, so go check them out.
Yeah.
We got promo codes and all that, but it's not. We're more of a Thrive show here. What else is coming up for you at wide receiver? Actually, what other news do we need to hit on? Is there anything else?
I haven't seen anything since we've started. I mean, Liverpool was awesome yesterday. We can talk about that if you'd like.
Yeah, that is football relevant. That is not quite. Oh, Kenny Galladay's out.
Yeah.
So adjust your Kenny Galladay accordingly.
Cyborg got knocked out by Amanda Nunes last night. Jon Jones captured his belt again. You gotta love it. Ugh, come on. Did you go by any chance?
I'm not I believe Jon Jones is like the most talented MMA fighter I've ever seen. I watched that fight too. Like he's really great, but he's just a terrible human being, and his insecurities with PEDs and stuff. Like you don't need to take PEDs. Stop.
I don't think he's taking PEDs. I think the problem is he loves Coke so much that he doesn't care where it comes from.
But it's not Coke. It's like Dave Meltzer, who does the Wrestling Observer thing, has covered it pretty good length. He took a PED that like masks you taking PEDs, and helps you retain muscle, whatever.
Yeah,
retain
the
muscle
original one.
Yeah, but that was when he still had in his body like last week, and it was the same amount, which doesn't make sense with how half-life works of a PED.
But dude,
he's just a
grams
bad
or whatever.
He's the most disingenuous guy.
1/15 millionth of a grain of salt. I'm good. There's no asterisk next to his name. He's fucking everyone up. There's no asterisk. It's the same way that Barry Bonds is the best baseball player that's ever lived.
Yeah, and I think MMA needs to come to Jesus thing like baseball had with Barry Bonds, whether you believe that they're fully gone or not. It's just, I don't know. He's not a good human being, I think is the way I feel about him, because he doesn't do things on the up and up. And I'd rather root for like Cormier.
Jon Jones has 6 wins over other guys that have tested positive for steroids. So we need to pump the brakes a little bit, like he's the only guy that does it. Vitor Belfort, Lyoto Machida, right. The list goes on and on. These guys have all popped. It's not, but for some reason he's the asshole. I don't get it. He just loves Coke too.
Well, he's not testing positive for Coke right now, though. I agree that he does love Coke, but all right, people in the chat now. He tested positive in August and September. Yeah, I mean, look, there's
for essentially nothing. No human being could make the amount of he tested positive for in anything. We physically, as a human, couldn't make that dose that small.
I don't know. I think there's some weird thing. He does like micro doping to try to not get caught, but he's still not good enough at that to not get caught. And whatever. Jon Jones, you suck. Anyways,
go Jon Jones.
I like Jon Jones as a talent. I think that's why it hurts me more to see him just like waste the talent and be like weird about PEDs and just not a great guy and whatever. It is what it is. People asking about Jake Kumaro. So Jake Kumaro is a guy I actually had in my column last week. I didn't do one this week because I actually tried to take time off to try to reset my brain a little. And also eat disgustingly. I feel like the fucking worst I've ever felt.
It's the end of the year, man. You're supposed to go out like that.
No, that's true. And it doesn't count because New Year's is right around the corner and calories don't carry over. That's what we all know. Jake Kumaro interests me a little bit because he's a guy who Aaron Rodgers hyped up in the preseason. And he's like a big white guy who fits the profile of what Aaron Rodgers likes to throw to.
Did you recommend him as a top 10 wide receiver before the season started?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Different stroke, I guess. But so Kumaro, we were talking about before we came on the air. There are a lot of guys who Josh and I talked about in like the preseason and, who are, I would qualify as random assholes, who are guys who, maybe didn't get a lot of run this year. Kumaro is a guy who I think could have a big day today and who won't be highly owned. And he had that touchdown last week and people are talking about him. So maybe he will now. 2.5% ownership projected, but he does intrigue me a little bit. I know you're not playing Jake Kumaro though.
Good value in Alex's rankings, but no, I'm digging a little too deep on that one.
It's fair. I feel like you got to get weird here. Like, I'm wondering who the random guy is going to be in like the Millionaire Maker winning lineup this week, because there's going to be some like 3K guy who is just, I don't even know.
Yeah, but like what we're looking for is, who do we think is going to score 2 touchdowns today that's totally not on the radar? And I can't think about the NFL like that. I'm going to fail more often than I succeed by trying to do that.
True. That's fair. So I guess that's sort of a 2-approach thing I think that you could take with the lineups that you're creating tonight is, I think a lot of people are going to get cute and play the Dwayne Washingtons, who's going to be 20% owned now, which is a little more reasonable than the 30% we had projected initially. But, by just going to a guy who's going to get you 15 touches, you could probably get ahead of a decent chunk of the field. So your approach is probably right, but I feel like the approach of Bulls is going to win.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating.
Yeah, there's just too many guys today to like really dig into something like that when what we're really asking for in a GPP winning lineup is more than 1 touchdown or like some sort of crazy amount of volume that's unpredictable. And there's probably 40 guys on today's slate that like could be that guy. I don't even want to try to pick out of them. I'd rather just take all of the guys who I expect to have a reasonable workload today.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. The issue is I think some of the 3K guys you can project for a decent workload, like McCaffrey's not going to play. Cameron Artis-Payne is going to get touches, whether they're valuable or not, versus the Saints. The Saints have been very good versus the rush. But if Payne starts getting little dump-off targets, like Cameron Artis-Payne could have a 20-point day, and he has done it at the end of the year. I think last year, maybe the year before, where he had like a couple of monster games. I just hate it. This is not the most fun week. Like, even though I do know these guys and I'm excited to see them do well, the Jake Kumerows and Cameron Artis-Paynes of the world. I don't even know. I really don't know who to play at this point, especially now that Adams is out.
Right, and that's another another point in my direction in my thought process is that I don't want to make a lineup and be like, oh fuck, I hate this guy. Like, I might hate him personally, but not like his sort of stance for the day. That's another reason why, like, I don't want to sift through the garbage. I don't want to look at a lineup and be like, oh my god, 4 of these guys can bagel.
Yeah, there's some risk there. I think, to me, that's why like a Jeff Wilson is sort of where I'm comfortable at. I mean, like, I did play Dwayne Washington. I'm playing a lot of Dwayne Washington. I'm still playing a lot of Cameron Artis-Payne. Who else is a cheap guy? I have some David Williams, who I feel like is a name. Guess what team David Williams is on, Josh?
David Williams.
Yeah.
The Rainfire in the European League or something. I don't know, man.
He is a Jaguars running back. Who I think I took out of my lineups now, but he was probably going to get the load that Fournette's leaving behind if Carlos Hyde were not active. But
I'll give him a load.
He was a Broncos practice squad player who the Jaguars picked up, I think in like October. Has had some nasty runs in the preseason and limited sample sizes, but
this feels like one of our preseason shows now for sure.
Yeah, no, Dave Williams is out of my lineups now, but he was a guy who was in the mix. Trying to think what other random guys let's talk about tight end first. Tight end's an important one. What are you doing there? I assume I'm doing just Kelsey and Kittle. That's what I'm doing.
Ertz, Kittle, and one lineup of Cameron Brate.
Okay.
I do not have a problem with Travis Kelce whatsoever. He's really expensive on Yahoo. He's $31. Ertz is $23. Kittle's $24. I don't see them having like that ridiculous of differences in ceilings. I mean, Kelsey's for sure, but there's also a lot of other places the ball can go in Kansas City. So I have a tough time paying up for him on Yahoo today, and that's why I'm getting a lot of Ertz and Kittle. But clearly Travis Kelce is a fucking fantastic tight end and football player.
Yeah, I would agree that Travis Kelce, who is on the cusp of setting the record for tight end yards, is a good tight end.
What's his price relative to Ertz and Kittle on DK?
He's at 7,200. Ertz is 6,700. Kittle 6,300.
Okay, yeah, so it's a bit bigger of a gap, relatively speaking, on Yahoo than it is on DK. I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up with Kelce if I were playing a similar sort of volume on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's interesting. I played a ton of Kelce just because, like, last week Ertz, I was just comfortable with him. He was the tight end who I felt good about. It turned out he was only 15% owned, and that actually helped me have one of the better weeks I've had pretty much all year because I was like just strong everywhere with Ertz. I feel like Kelce, everybody's going to be on this week, so that means you probably should go to Tyreek Hill, and who did have a pretty big opportunity versus the Raiders the last time they played, but didn't seize it.
I have so much Hill. Jesus.
Yeah, so like I actually don't feel super confident about Hill. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you should never really feel confident about Tyreek Hill. He's either going to be awful or change the slate completely.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of average days.
It's tough too because you have Juju right there at the same price, or roughly on DK is 8,300. Hill's at 8,400. Like, if I had to bank on a guy of those two, especially with Antonio Brown hurt, not playing potentially, if he is playing, he's going to be banged up. Juju looks like a much better play to me than Hill. Your boy Juju.
I have them both massively.
Yeah.
I have 3 guys at 60%. Hill, Juju, and DeAndre Hopkins.
I have some Hopkins because of the Adams hole that was left behind, but I'm not super confident in that one.
I'll take my chances. Jacksonville's defense is terrible.
Yeah, they've given up completely, I think.
Yeah. I mean, last 4 weeks for Hopkins, 12, 11, 10, 12 targets. Exactly how you would expect. But like earlier in the season, 6, 6, 7, 8, 6. Last 4 weeks, though, double-digit targets. Over 100 yards in his last 2 games. I mean, I'm just hoping that sort of continues. Clearly.
Just since we talked about, I guess people are talking about Packers in the chat, but are you playing Jamal Williams? Because I feel like he's another important Packer to discuss.
Yeah, I have him twice out of my 10 lineups on Yahoo.
Okay.
I'm not like terribly excited about it.
Yeah, no, I'm not either with his price up, but I feel like now that Adams is out, like that should open up a few more touches for him, one would think, just because I don't know. Like, are they gonna really throw it more to Kumaro and Valdez-Scantling than Williams? I don't know. I find that hard to believe.
I mean, with Aaron Rodgers, it's kind of difficult to prioritize anyone when Adams is out. I mean, we're going to see if this is a classic Aaron Rodgers game and he plays really well, we're going to see some real random dickheads score a touchdown today.
That's your Make-A-Wish kid thing could be in order here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's going to be like some 280-pound blocking tight end getting his first snap of the day on some random goal line play where he comes in as like a tackle eligible nonsense. It's just awful. Aaron Rodgers is the king of this shit.
This is the moment he's been waiting for. He's also been targeting these preseason assholes all year. Yeah. Now he's ready for it.
I bet Rodgers is ready for this game to be over so he can target something else by the time this season ends. Fine, Danica.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were going with a beard joke or a Danica joke. That's Nasty J asking about Yahoo. At $13, isn't CJ Anderson a lock? That's the equivalent of a little over 3K on DraftKings. You're playing a lot of Yahoo, Josh. What do you think?
He's the most owned running back for me.
All right, so there you go.
No one's a lock, but especially in football, especially if you're CJ Anderson.
Also true. CJ Anderson. So I watched that game. I thought CJ Anderson looked mostly good. I can tell you who did not agree with that was Evan Silva. He referred to him as like he was like running in slow motion, I believe is what he said. He had like a lot of really mean barbs towards CJ Anderson, which made you think like maybe it was just kind of the matchup. And the Niners are a better run defense team. So I do worry a little bit about that because, you know, the Cardinals are bad versus the run. The Niners are okay. CJ Anderson isn't as good as he appeared. It was just volume. I think that's going to show pretty noticeably this week.
What's the line in that game? 10-point favorites?
I think more than that.
Let's just say it's 10. You have to assume then if it's a 10-point line that the Rams lead and that CJ Anderson gets carries, right?
Yeah.
If you don't think that CJ Anderson's going to have a good game, you should really like guys like George Kittle.
True. Yeah. No, that all makes sense. I guess the thing to me would just be like if he has a good day, but it's like 50 yards and a touchdown, it's not a good enough day.
Depends on the site, I guess.
True.
What's his price on DraftKings?
Yahoo, you'd probably be happy with that.
I'm looking for 15 fantasy points on Yahoo. He's $11.
Fair.
Nope, that's not true. He's $13, but still.
Alvin Kamara is out. Ingram. People are asking in the chat. What are you doing with Mark Ingram? Are you playing any of him, or are we just going straight to Washington?
0. I don't have any. I don't have any part of the Saints.
Interesting. Okay, so you're not buying the Washington thing at all?
No. I'm not buying it. I just don't have him.
I think based on what we've seen this year with chalk running backs who are cheap, I think there probably is more of a logic in getting away from him just because of the risk involved. But
he grades out well in that stuff. I just don't have him.
The fear to me of missing out on that 3K guy who has a 100-yard, 2-touchdown day, I think is what's driving me to play Washington, even though like I know it's probably better to get away from him.
It helps. I don't have that fear in me at all.
If he gets his whole second half of run versus the Panthers team is not, you know, what are they doing?
Oh, I totally get it. He's in my player pool. He could have come up. He just didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's another one of those things that I just simply don't trust. I could be very wrong. I could be very wrong.
I need a QB wide receiver running back stack on DK. Don't we all, Terry McNatt?
Yeah, holy shit, man. I need a lineup.
Yeah. Do you have a QB wide receiver running back stack? Also, like, do you have any guys you run it back with?
Yeah. And the defense and a flex position.
I got tight end. Don't worry about tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can't sift through tight end today, I don't know. Just play the dudes that play.
Are you playing James Conner? He is a dude who is going to play.
I'm not playing James Conner.
Okay. I am also not playing James Conner. I don't like the split potential with him and Jalen Samuels and coming off of an ankle thing. I'm not crazy about James Conner this week.
Yeah, just give me Juju and only Juju. Well, I mean, I guess and Roethlisberger to an extent. Fuck, I'm hungry.
I too am hungry, but I need to not eat. Just not eat. I have a cheesecake sitting in my fridge. It's like the fucking worst.
Like a whole cheesecake?
Yeah, one of the gifts I got was a Junior's cheesecake, which like only like how much cheesecake can one human being eat?
It sounds like a whole one, man. Depends. How much weed can one man smoke? I had a friend in town who ate some, so that helped. But like, there's still over half a cheesecake left, and it's just not going to happen unless I really hate myself at some point today. Get that weed in your system, buddy. That cheesecake will taste fantastic.
There is a strong correlation. I'm 100% on Stephen Ridley. That is not the movie either. DFS.
Yeah, no. Unless you meant to type off. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, not Ridley, not the play.
Did you mean Calvin Ridley? Because at least I can get behind that mildly.
Here's a good question. Let's do our 100-yard thing in a second too, which we'll talk about. But DK for 19, over under how many people play DeAndre Washington from Oakland instead of the Saints Dwayne Washington? Because they are both D Washingtons on DraftKings, and I presume on FanDuel.
A lot.
Yeah, I think DeAndre Washington will probably pick up 2% ownership. The thing is, he's not a terrible play either, because he could get run in a game versus the Chiefs that could be out of hand, which would be funny if DeAndre Washington had while everybody's playing Dwayne Washington, and these assholes who picked the wrong guy could benefit.
It happens from time to time. That's the worst part of it all.
Like the D Williams things for Kansas City.
Names are the worst. It should be like the Screen Actors Guild. Like, you should only be able to have one of everybody, and you have to show the whole thing. Everybody needs initials and shit. Make it real clean.
I would agree. Let's do our 100-yard guys because, okay, so the overall score, you are up 1, which means I can only tie you now. Last week, we both hit. So I want to point out one thing real fast, just for the audience and for Josh, because I don't think you paid attention this closely to it.
Pay attention to shit, man.
So Josh's 100-yard guys this year.
This should be good. Juju.
Adam Thielen, DeAndre Hopkins, Davante Adams, Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, Michael Thomas. So
amazing.
We didn't give any guidelines here. We didn't say anything. Now compare it to my guys. Adam Thielen, so we share that. Julio Jones, right, fine. Brandon Cooks, David Johnson, Matt Breida, Joe Mixon, Robbie Anderson. If we were doing this on a Tony Hawk skill difficulty scale, who would win? I think me.
I can't help it. You make bad picks.
But these are the picks that were right, though, for the record.
Yeah. Well,
beginning of the year was tough. My beginning of the year was Alex Collins, who let me down. Kenyon Drake in week 3. Certainly, yeah, no. It's a tough run. But I just want to say, some of us, go outside the box. Some of us think inside the box. Mm-hmm. Anyway, my pick's Juju Smith-Schuster.
All right, I'll take DeAndre Hopkins. That one's teed up there. I don't. If I could look at if we had any sort of Yahoo ownership projections, I would take a look and take someone that I have that's a little bit further down. Since I don't want to tie you, so I'm not going to make a total asshole pick. I would take a bit more of a chance if I were up by 2. And, let's be honest here. You got an extra week. You were never giving me credit if EMAC got it right.
If EMAC got Corey Davis right, that fully would have counted. I would have been fine with that.
No shot.
I would have been annoyed by it.
No shot. It would have counted. No shot. I've never been more comfortable in a stance in my entire life.
I'm telling you, this one I'm dead serious about because I put it in. Once I put it in the sheet, I've had this rule. It's just dating back to the home run game.
You're the only one with the sheet, man. I don't know you put it in the sheet. I don't even know that there's a sheet.
It's the same one as our 100.
You could just be writing that on a fucking piece of paper next to your laptop.
Yeah, see, look, here's our sheet, which is the same as the King of Dong sheet, which was also a tie.
Yeah, give me DeAndre Hopkins.
All right, fair enough. So here your 100-yard picks are in. DeAndre Hopkins for Josh, Juju for me, both courageous and brave. I'm thinking of that Eric Andre bit where he's like, "How could you say something so controversial yet so brave?"
Oh man.
All right, what else? What defenses people want to talk about? Like what defenses are coming up for you? I know you don't really care that much.
Eagles, Chargers, Ravens.
For me, I have a little bit of Giants, a lot more Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are worth paying up for because Josh Rosen has gone full heel on us and is now completely unplayable and terrible in ways that were unpredictable
Now,
by anybody.
That whole team has been dog shit since week 1. Although no one knew it on week 1, or at least we kind of assumed it on week 1.
They had glimmers of hope, but they have. I mean, they're projected for under 13 points this week. They're not a team.
When did they have glimmers of hope? They're 3-12. They are the current favorites for the first pick in the draft. Where were the glimmers of hope coming out of Arizona?
Glimmers of fantasy hope, I would say, is more accurate.
David Johnson has been dog shit from the jump. I don't know who else we were taking.
David Johnson had a couple of big weeks. Fitzgerald had a couple of okay weeks, or decent weeks.
How big of a Christian Kirk fan are you? Jeez.
Christian Kirk, I look. I like playing bad guys. So I did have some good Christian Kirk weeks. You got to dig deep.
Yeah. Who's the quarterback of the Cardinals next year? Is it Rosen?
Yeah, it's still Josh Rosen.
Okay. Well, they're fucked again.
Yeah. Well. You know what? Josh Rosen, if I had to do the preseason videos now, would be one of my guys to make the leap in year 2.
Oy.
Josh Rosen and Josh Allen. Josh Allen, though, looking pretty tasty this week, huh?
People are going to be holding their breath for that content come August.
Oh, Tony S. saying, give Spags a chance to win. Both of you guys should have to pick a 100-yard rusher, too. That's interesting.
What, do you have a burner account?
Tony S. Could be a relative. Maybe does have the S as the last initial.
Yeah, I assume it's just your middle name.
Nope, Daniel. Suck it. I would never burner. I take the feedback. I just would hide people if they're annoying and trolls. But that's true of anybody who trolls anything that we do on the channel because you don't need those people.
Yeah, I'm not giving you 2 options. Absolutely not. 0% chance.
Ben Fleissner asking for Josh Allen ownership. Let's see, because I'm actually curious about
Ben Fleissner asking for Joan Allen ownership, which I'm pretty sure she's not getting any.
Wait, did he actually?
Now it's Josh.
Oh, okay. Oh, he did put
Josh Allen's mom in the MILF rankings today.
Joan Allen. Isn't Joan Allen a famous actress of some of a different era?
Sounds right to me. Joan Allen. I hope this doesn't go south when Yep, she was in fuck if I know. And a Nightingale sang, which I'm not gonna lie, didn't come across my Netflix recently. Oh,
that's like a classic old movie name. At the day the clouds stopped.
She may or may not have been in The Notebook. Is she the mom from The Notebook? She's the mom from The Notebook.
Oh, there we go. Good job, Josh Allen's mom. Who's not actually Josh Allen's mom.
And now I know who she is. Her Wikipedia is writing her up in the wrong way. I don't care that she won a 1988 Tony Award for her Broadway debut in Burn This. I want to know that she was the mom in The Notebook or one of the ladies that was in Langley in the Bourne movies. Also, the mom in Pleasantville, apparently, which is a fantastic movie.
There you go. So this is the only DFS live stream where you get Joan Allen and Josh Allen takes.
Yeah.
I like them both. They both do great work. Josh Allen is 4% projected ownership on DK right now. People not wanting to pay up at 6K for Josh Allen, but that Josh Allen, Zay Jones, Robert Foster stack looks pretty good to me. Kroom was also a guy. Jason Kroom was a guy who Evan Silva brought up yesterday. We were both very much on Josh Allen as our contrarian pick. I don't know if we were trolling Alex or not, but that was the results of on the contrary.
I'd rather have Joan Allen.
Why do you hate Josh Allen? It's okay. If you made a perfect fantasy football quarterback in the lab, it would be Josh Allen.
Nope.
He just has to complete more passes. That's the only thing he has to do.
Yeah, no. I mean, you're asking for the quarterback to complete more passes. I think that we might have the wrong set of ingredients for this. What you're looking for him to do is be Aaron Rodgers, I think is the words you're looking for. A guy that can run and also throw.
Completion rates do trickle upwards for younger players. So, I mean, I think if he gets to, he's at, I think, 58% passing. I'm actually curious about this.
So this is just shtick. I like Josh Allen. Just FYI.
Okay. No, okay, that's fair.
I mean, he is not a good quote unquote quarterback. Could he get there? Sure.
No, a good fantasy quarterback though. I think.
Oh no, fantastic. I mean, I wasn't confident in him in week 1 and 2. You got on board pretty early. But no, I mean he's a really good fantasy quarterback. He'd probably complete some more passes if he didn't play for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt too much. He's 52% completion rate on the year, which I believe is lowest of anybody playing today.
Seems like a fair bet.
So, but if he gets to 60%, I think this is literally the Rams offense, but like a terrible version of it.
If he gets to 60%, he's probably the best quarterback that's ever lived.
What if he gets to 50%?
Oh my god! What are Michael Vick's completion numbers from back in the day? Nope. Googling Michael Vick. I'm just gonna go dog fighting websites. Vick. That's Wikipedia. They don't have the stats. Where's Pro Football Reference? There we go. What's Vick's completion percentage? 56 for his career. Yeah, he needs to get in like the high 50s, low 60s.
Yeah, which he's throwing it really deep downfield, but I think that can come with time. I think it just intrigues me the way that he's playing the game, because it feels like they're playing advanced analytics football. Like it feels like they're shooting threes every possession. Which just intrigues me a bit because nobody else is doing that. And I feel like a lot of people, even the smart NFL players or reporters, aren't covering it. But I think they're doing something wonky there, which is going to result in Josh Allen being like a top 5 fantasy pick next year, like in terms of his results.
He's going to be fantastic.
It's weird. I don't know, just something to watch. There are people asking who you'd stack with Josh Allen if you were to play him. I prefer Zay Jones a little bit because I think the air yards are close enough, and Zay Jones is $1,000 cheaper on DK. But I think both of them are very viable, and Jason Kroom a little bit less so.
What else we got?
Any liking for Damien? Oh, actually, here's an interesting one. Brian Hill is going slightly under the radar. Any interest in Brian Hill, Josh?
No.
Brian Hill. Any interest in what team Brian Hill is on?
I know which team Brian Hill is on.
Okay. I figured you wouldn't know that one. That wasn't David Williams deep.
No. I mean, David Williams there's probably been like 8 David Williams in the NFL at this point too. I'll be honest. I immediately thought of David Wilson, the old Virginia Tech running back that I believe was on the Giants for a hot minute and then like had a neck injury and had to retire.
He had a couple good years.
Yeah. Really good kick returner.
Yeah, Brian Hill's I think a little interesting, but and he will get lost in the embers of some of these other guys. I think the issue is that they're still playing Tevin Coleman, they're still playing Julio. To what degree those guys are actually going to be involved is one thing, but it's going to take, I think, away enough of the workload where, I mean, Brian Hill got there last week at like on 8 carries, he got 100 yards. I don't think that happens this week.
I prefer Bobby Hill.
He would be a good lineman. I wouldn't trust him as a running back.
I don't know you. That's my purse.
Any New Orleans wide receivers today? Dr. Ganja is asking. He's a doctor.
Oh, I visit that doctor regularly. I don't have any.
Yeah, I don't even know who you'd play, to be honest. Like, who gets the targets if Michael Thomas comes out early? Keith Kirkwood?
I don't even want to hypothesize. I'm not into that deep dive bullshit. Can't do it.
I agree with you.
Who's throwing the ball?
Bridgewater.
Yeah, great.
I don't think Bridgewater's a terrible play today.
What evidence do we have that it can be good? 5 years ago on the Vikings, he was okay.
He was pretty good in the preseason. I mean, good enough that teams were talking about trading for him and whatever. And then New Orleans was the ones that got him as the backup. And
so no team that was ever going to play him took him.
Well, yeah, but it was like weird because he was on the Jets and he was theoretically could have started for the Jets if things broke a certain way. And then like at the time that he was available, like nobody else wanted him to come in for that kind of role because they had their guys already. So I don't know. That's a fair one.
Yeah. I mean, he has, how many snaps has he played in his career out after he got that injury? Is it none?
No, I mean, well, yeah. So, I mean, since in like in actual games, I think he's probably not played very many. But
he's thrown 3 balls, if these attempts are real, since the 2015 season. I'm just not confident that he does anything of value.
Week 17, though, that's the week for the redemption stories and the, last week we saw it a little bit with Taylor Heineke, where you got these human interest stories and guys who just want to win, want to have a good day because this is their shot at something. I mean, Taylor Heineke played through like either a busted shoulder or a broken elbow or some shit. I think Bridgewater is going to come out and at least try to do something. I think they're going to want him to accomplish something too. So, but I just don't know who you'd stack him with because I feel like it's maybe Tommy Lee Lewis. Maybe.
Here's the sneaky part of Bridgewater. He wasn't even good when he was playing before.
He wasn't a good fantasy quarterback. No, you're right about that.
14 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in 16 games. 14 touchdowns.
He's one of those like, oh, he was like better as like a, as a real life game manager than he was as a fantasy player, guys.
Sure.
I think that's fair.
Fuck him.
I need utility guy 4,000 and under on DK.
This one's yours. I need a steak and bacon sandwich in my tummy tum in 30 minutes.
I need...
And maybe 4, a slice of that cheesecake if you can get it here quick. Put it in a drone or something.
Oh, man. Junior cheesecake is legit the best. I do love juniors. Zay Jones would be my guy, actually. I love Zay Jones. Again. Everything comes back to Josh Allen. The Josh Allen fantasy tree.
Yeah. Do I need to get you a Bills jersey?
They... Like, honestly, though, I enjoy the Cowboys this year. They're doing a good job. They're my team. But I like teams like that. Like, I always wish the Cowboys were a team like that who, like, sucks, but there's something there where you're like, whoa, I don't get it. This is fun. And I feel like I would be into that if they were my team.
Instead, you like the team that is the most well-known team in all of sports.
But is wildly frustrating in a million different ways.
Yeah, like you have that team that sucks but's redeeming. It just so happens that they're owned by Jerry Jones and they're the Dallas Cowboys and have incredible history. You've got the team right. They've been shit for 25 years.
You're right.
When you're actually getting exactly what you want. History is just not on your side.
No, that's fair.
They happen to be too good in the 70s for you.
Yeah, no, I've talked about this before, but like I was a child when they were really bad. That was when I first started liking them. Was when they got they had Troy Aikman and were 1-15. That was the first year I rooted for them. Then they won the Super Bowls, which I don't remember at all. And then they were just like mediocre for years and years. And I remember Quincy Carter. I remember Vinny Testaverde. I remember Drew Henson, Drew Hutchinson. Remember all those assholes, but not any of the good times. So
Drew Henson, man, good times.
Ugh. Could have been a great baseball player and a great football player if he were good at either.
Yeah, me too.
Him and Kyler Murray both. Can you guys go over who you prefer between Bourne and Montez Valdez-Scantling? I always forgot the M when people say MVS. What about Valdez-Scantling and Bourne? Which would you go with?
Valdez-Scantling.
I would go...
Unless we're talking about Jason Bourne and now rolling it all the way back to Joan Allen.
I would go Valdez-Scantling, I think. But Kendrick Bourne does intrigue me a little bit. So Bourne's going to be lower owned.
I'm stacking Joan Allen and Jason Bourne. And I can't remember the name of what is her name? Who's the chick from Save the Last Dance?
Julia Stiles?
Yeah. She can be a nice punt play in the flex spot, also in the Bourne movies. So Marquez Valdez-Scantling projected for 6% ownership, and Bourne is projected for a little under 5%. So you're not getting much of a discount. I'd probably go Valdez-Scantling, but I think both are perfectly credible plays. Kyle B152 says, "How rich are you guys? Clearly not, or we wouldn't be doing this."
Kyle's new here. Who is Osmo? Osmo's very rich.
Yeah,
Just don't listen to that Samson Truther guy on Twitter.
Well, I mean, listen to him. He's doing a good job. It's just that what he says is not entirely the full picture.
No, that's also true. People get real angry about DFS stuff. I've learned in our year doing this.
Yeah, it kind of makes me happier.
I guess.
I get a lot out of people being angry on Twitter. They think they're trolling me, but what they're actually doing is making me smile so hard because my life is dope as fuck.
Would you go Elijah McGuire or CJ Anderson in the FanDuel GPP?
I don't know their ownerships right now. I would feel significantly more comfortable with CJ Anderson. I have no idea what the gap in ownership is, though. I have Elijah McGuire, and it makes me very nervous because I don't exactly trust the Jets against the Pats in New England.
Yeah, I don't trust the Jets in that matchup enough, but I think they could be sneaky. But I think CJ, if you're just trying to get a shot to win, I think seems like the smarter play. But I think a Jets stack could be interesting today if you run it back with like Sony Michel and Edelman.
Yeah,
it's an interesting look because I don't think the Pats D is that good. And I think the Jets are kind of rolling now. I mean, they're not good, but they're at least looking like something.
Darnold's been slinging it.
Yeah, and Robbie Anderson, I mean, I think people are going to avoid him today because he's priced up and he gets Stephon Gilmore, but Robbie Anderson's getting over 10 targets a game, and they're all Josh Allen depth targets. So
Robbie Anderson
with Josh Allen. What
cashing checks for Ben Raza.
Zay Jones or Valdez Scantling. Probably Zay Jones for me.
You're crazy.
Like Zay Jones.
Oh my God. How's he going to get the ball? Josh Allen's going to be 8 for 27 from the
Dolphins
pocket.
defense
Meanwhile,
is very bad.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be slinging it to MVS.
I guess it's look, it's all very possible. Cobb will get 10 plus targets with Adams out. That's, I think, a decent outcome.
Yeah. The problem with Cobb getting 10 targets is that he might only have 3 catches.
That's also true. Close targets though. He's not been that good this year though. I would say that.
No.
Sony Michel and Julio or Hill and CJ Anderson. What? Wait, which? That can't be right. Or Robbie Anderson, I guess that would be.
Oh, Jesus. I need to look at FanDuel. We might have overlay coming.
Oh. Well, for me, I think that's really not a great choice, to be honest. I don't think Julio's going to get enough run today to be useful. I guess I would go Hill and Robbie Anderson, but I think it's got some significant risk on it, trifecta. That's what I would say.
What was the question? Hit me again.
It was Sony Michel and Julio Jones or Brian Hill and Robbie Anderson for DK.
I don't know the prices enough, but I prefer the first group of names.
Yeah, I mean, Julio's just tough to trust for me, but whatever. Kumaro keeps popping up. Somebody please talk me off him. Kumaro is going to be higher owned, I think, than we think with how much people are talking about Kumaro today.
Yeah, there might be some overlay in this tournament here on FanDuel, so people are trying to get into it. I mean, it's going up like the amount of people on the planet, but I'll take my chances.
Would you, for FanDuel GPP, would you go Melvin and Elijah McGuire or Sony Michel and Damian Williams for FanDuel?
Melvin and
Elijah McGuire.
Probably the latter. Not excited about it though.
All right, that's it in the premium Slack. What about you, regular chat? What about Barkley? You want to give your Barkley thoughts one more time?
Yeah, I'm playing a lot of him. I'm agreeing with Laffy for today that I think he gets increased volume. I'm not confident in the Giants being a smart organization and keeping him off the field.
Yeah, I would agree with that take, but I'm not playing as much Barkley just because I think the Cowboys D will show enough to be okay. And if Barkley's going to be the chalkiest player on the slate, I'm okay doing some other approach and lineup constructions. Any love for Royce Freeman? He is the lone back left. Well, not the lone back left. They still have Devontae Booker, but Lindsey's out. Any Freeman for you this week?
I think I have one lineup with him in. Nothing crazy.
Seems reasonable.
It's probably a terrible idea for me right now. I'm exporting a 10 lineup crunch just to potentially throw it into this FanDuel tournament if it continues to look like it might overlay. But it went from like 6,000 entries to 8,300 since we started talking about it.
Huh. Probably because of the show.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Drop Tech Rune has got an interesting one for you. Drake is going to be the best 4K and under play of the day. Kenyon Drake did get the most snaps last week, but I don't know. I I didn't run back any Dolphins, even though I am playing a pretty good amount of Bills. I didn't feel like the Dolphins were a good play anywhere. But Drake is interesting. I'll give you that.
6 minutes, 5 minutes and 30 seconds actually.
Do you guys think Ware will get a full workload? I do not.
I wouldn't expect it.
I would.
I think that backfield is hella murky.
Are you playing Damian Williams at all?
No.
He interests me, but I'm not playing him much. I have a little bit of him, but I think he's the guy to go with over Ware. I don't think Ware is going to come back to that role. They just re-signed Damian Williams for, not a large amount of money, but I think that was kind of a show of faith in what he's done, and he has looked better than Ware. I think it's just going to be a time split where, both guys can get you 15 to 20 fantasy points, but I don't see either having an outlier day.
Yeah, I don't totally trust it.
Okay, we haven't talked about Chris Carson. People have talked a little bit about him. How do you feel about him? And we talked about Jamal Williams, but how do you feel about both those guys?
I have them both. I think I only have Carson in one lineup though.
Yeah,
no aversion to either.
I'm a little bit averse to Chris Carson just because I don't think he gets his full workload. I actually was trying to figure out if Mike Davis is worth playing because I think he might get more of a workload today. I just don't see why you'd run Chris Carson into the ground when you're playing for. They could either be the 6th seed or the 5th seed, I believe. I don't know that they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to give him enough run to be useful, but yeah, I like Jamal Williams though.
Yeah.
What are the chances Darius Slay shuts down Marquez Valdes-Scantling?
I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah, there's a chance, but not one that, I don't know. I feel like that actually might be my blind spot with Valdes-Scantling. I don't think I played him at all.
Yeah, that's not something that I'm super worried about on week 17.
If he has good speed, so he could have like a big outlier day. I think that's the one thing which, I'm not crazy about Valdes-Scantling, but I think with no Adams there, it just depends how they approach it, I guess, would be my feel for it.
Sure.
Did y'all watch Bird Box yet? Sure did. Bird Box is interesting because they're actually seeding fake memes with all of the prominent meme accounts, which I think is one of the more clever marketing strategies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it besides last night when my wife was like, have you seen all these Bird Box memes? And I was like, I don't know what Bird Box is. I don't know why I would want to look at memes about something that I don't know. And then she responded, be like, here's another one. I was like, again, I still don't know what any of this means, so these memes don't land for me.
The memes are fun. Look, the premise is pretty simple.
I just see Sandra Bullock in a blindfold all the time. So yeah, fill me in. What is Bird Box?
So Bird Box, for the last few minutes of our last live stream of the regular season, Bird Box is a film in which Sandra Bullock has to not save the world, but save some people in a world in which you can't look. It's like A Quiet Place, but for seeing, I guess is the best way to put it.
That doesn't help me at all. What do you mean?
A Quiet Place, the John Krasinski movie where like they couldn't make noise. So basically she can't look at anything.
The guy from The Wire, or the guy from The Office?
Yeah. It was like one of the biggest hits of the year.
Never heard of it.
Oh, well, all right. So it's that, but for seeing.
I don't know. Let's go back. Why does she have to wear the fucking blindfold?
Because if you don't cover your eyes, you'll go mad and kill yourself and possibly others.
How the fuck are you going to save the world with a goddamn blindfold on?
It's a very far-fetched film. Let's just leave it at that for now.
Okay. So I should not watch this?
No, it's worth it. It's worth it as a cultural thing. I think I forget what they said. There was some estimate about how many people have watched it. It's been like an insane amount where
I'll never watch this.
That Netflix is now going to try to recapture over and over again, I'm sure.
I will never watch this.
Black Mirror movie also pretty good.
Now that I do want to watch, but yeah, I don't we have a terrible culture. So I'm not looking to try to do more of what we're trying to do.
Fair enough.
If it's really popular in I don't know, Denmark or something, it's probably a bit more reasonable. But the United States as a whole makes pretty fucking terrible decisions. Like that stupid Baby Shark song or whatever. I don't participate in this shit.
If Joan Allen was in it, Josh would know.
Now if Joan Allen was the lead.
Oh man. All right. This last one. Giants, Sony Michel and Jake Kumaro, or Packers, McGuire and Marquez Valdes-Scantling on FanDuel.
McGuire, MVS, Packers.
I would go with the Giants and Kumaro one personally. But Yeah. Look. All right. Anything else good? I'm trying to make sure there's nothing else important. I feel like we hit on everything. There was a lot of things to hit on. I think we actually did get everything we needed to.
Hey, we got our Bird Box in. We got Bird Box sounds like a subscription service for bird feed.
Yeah, so for Netflix, they always advertise these movies on LA Live, which is a couple blocks from me. And I was like, what the fuck is Bird Box? Like, what a terrible name for a film. And it is a terrible name for a film. That has not changed. All right. We got everybody's questions there.
Yeah. Time to go watch some football.
Good job by us.
No mas. Week 17 in the books, man. We done. 1 o'clock.
Oh, you haven't watched the Black Mirror movie yet, right?
No, I haven't. But the wife is heading to San Francisco on Saturday of this coming week for 5 days. Okay. So I'm gonna get into the good stuff and get really in the mindset of watching Black Mirror and then watch Black Mirror.
It's a very creative concept, but the actual film execution maybe leaves something to be desired. But
seems about right.
I appreciate that them trying something different though. Good for Netflix. Bird Box shit, but worth watching.
Birchbox, on the other hand, wife subscribed to that for a while.
Well, keeps her young and youthful and feeling fresh.
Fuego Box, right? I got one of those for Christmas.
Oh, there you go. That's you do like hot sauces. That is a good gift for a hot sauce man.
I do. It's in my Twitter profile. Hot sauce aficionado.
An asshole.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I had to look that one up. Couldn't spell aficionado.
Right, let's go watch our rent. Dope Heathen, welcome back, Spags. Missed you on the NBA shows. Thanks, Dope Heathen. We'll be back to a regular schedule, I think, next week, but I don't even know.
I think that you and I will be on tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night? Okay.
No?
I don't know. I usually don't do Mondays, but I can.
Then we won't. My bad.
Yeah, I can do it though, but we'll see. I'll be on at some point. We'll be doing something with Josh. We'll have some NBA content coming, NFL content too coming, all playoffs. So make sure to use the promo code Live Before Lock. Get your membership. Probably later in the week would be wiser, so you get all that playoff stuff in. Yeah, go check that out now. Anything else we need to hit on? Thank you to Thrive for presenting us again. Use the link that I'm going to drop into the chat to get your free deposits. Obviously, you can't play this NFL slate, but there'll be more coming up later today. Go click the link. You get $10 on a $10 deposit, $20 on a $100 deposit, and $50 on $200 or more. So go check out Thrive Fantasy. They are the player prop app where you use game theory to get in ahead of people there. And it is a great product that supports us, to support them, please. Any parting words, Josh, before we go watch these random assholes sink all of our lineups?
Nope. Let's put a bow on this season.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching every single week, as I assume you all did. We do really appreciate that. And give the video a like, I guess. That probably helps. We should still keep pushing that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck today. I'll see you at the top of the tournament.
Bye, guys.